Representative of the participants, Henry Bitumba Mukendi. Please, let's follow the reverends. Amasunarita, Zengen Sanji, and Bilesi Yani.
Kamaharani Kanzumari Masu Kamuroni Kamurami Mikoto Moshi Kesumemi Toya Kamuri Zanaki Nomi Koto Tsukushi no Rimokano Tachi Hana no Odono Aki Harani Soki Harai Kamo Toki Hikari Masero Harai Dono Kami Tachi Moro no Magakoto Subinega Harai Tamai Kiyome Toma Osu Koto no Yoshi o Amatsu Kami Kuritsu Kami Yahoyo Sono Kami Tachi Tomoni Ame no Fuji Tomano Mimi Furi Tate Kikoshi Tese Tokashi Komi Tashi Komi Momosu Yaoyashi como miruni, senson canzeo pasatsu como tani amora setamai, onyo nyorai togenji, oshi miro togashi, musen no mikabito nara setamai te, nai senson sensekai no sanzoku o teishi, gojoku o kiyome, Yaku Sengo Urisai Shujo no Gainenga, Omyo Joraku Eidono, Joko Sekai no Narashimete, Okushu no Kuri Naku Fukukase Ramona Sunaki, Niroku no Miomi Tamo, Muryo Mohei no Daichiji, Engmara Setsumo Matsunaite, Choaku Jamo Aratamari, Yashari Uchimote Asunashi, Shozen Bushin Koto Koto Kusuno Kokoro Tashi Otoguru Nari, Sansen Somoku Koto Koto, Mikami no Itoku Nina Mikaite, Kinju Juryo no Suema Demo, Mila Sono Dokoro Isarunashi, Masani Kore Shimichi Sosekai Nite, Kario Mingawa Surani Mai, Zuyum Teri Tarani Yama, Banga Furi Kushini Kushi, Shire Gyokuro Suturi Kashi, Use no Miyakata Yasuri Tutu, Kogane no Yakasa Santo, Inite Soko Yewa, Genimo Tenko Kura Kutonari, Bogo Kuminori Tempurani Mishi, Sunari Takania Megashita, Iki Doshika Moro Morono, Kiragini Kiwa Kue Kuewa, Tsutsura Urani Michi Watari, Kunito Kunito no Sakai Taku, Ito Kusata Chitoni Kushinia, Isakai Totomo Yume Tokie, Iten Shikai no Shigabete, Miroko no Mite Nikristo Sare, Jinji no Mimone Nidakare, Ware Agari no Sikyo Nibo, Miyoshio Tamo Ishikakuo, Shime Yawato Bisakai, Yoa Yoana Yakuti, Sento Kuko Kasane Sanse, Futu Jokai Morio Tokai Kutoku, Tare Sase Tamai Mashi Maseto, Nei Nei Kushin Kesato Tsu, Ifukurai Dai Mirokuo Mikami, Amori Tamae Sakila Etamae, Mirokuo Mikami, Amori Tamae Sakila Etamae, Oshie Miyoya no Shimokami, Amori Tamae Sakila Etamae, Oshie Miyoya no Shimokami, Amori Tamae Sakila. Anagara Kamashihai Mase Anagara Kamashihai. O Supreme God, creator and giver of all life.
O Supreme God, creator and giver of all life,
Thy divine will, the long reign of Christ has come to an end. Thou art to release it, either likewise to live the glorious age, for which mankind has come to here. We thank thee for guiding us to that far right road. We thank thee for the privilege of the secret Sabbath.
may our spirits and bodies be
Almighty
alive.
place. May we live and possess what has given us gracious help. Make us pure channels of thy divine life, blessing those who come in contact. May thy plan for the new way of life be fulfilled, and peace, health, and plenty become a reality. Pray God of life, bless us and protect us, and give expensive radiance for us.
End of charade. The coming out of the affliction. Teachings of Meshu Sama. Insect pest. The three greatest burdens on the agricultural community in recent times have been the high cost of fertilizer, insect pests, and damage from wind and storm. I have already dealt with, and I have already dealt adequately with the topic of fertilizer, and would now like to speak in detail about insect pests. Harmful insects breed because of fertilizers, which pollute the soil, cause it to degenerate, and weaken its potential. At the same time, the impurities introduced by the fertilizers remain. All kinds of matter decomposing in the polluted places encourage insects and bacteria. The several varieties of fertilizers are responsible for the varieties of insects that breed because of their presence, and the new kinds of insect pests that have emerged recently are the results of the production of the new kinds of fertilizers. One should emphasize here the grave wrong committed by people who use chemical insecticides to ride themselves crop pests. These substances, which are toxic enough to kill insects, permeate and ruin the soil. Soil polluted with chemical insecticide adds yet another poison to the fertilizer toxin already absorbed by plants in it. The soil weakens and like human beings loses its powers of resistance. With the result of that insect pest proliferate, this kind of vicious circle is a good example of how much mistaken agricultural practices have been in the past. Obviously, the health of people who eat rice raised with a highly toxic fertilizer, ammonium sulfate, will be adversely affected, since their blood will be clouded. Even though individual dosages are very small, eating such contaminated rice 3 times daily, all year around, causes a large accumulation of toxins, which becomes the fundamental cause of all kinds of illness. January 15, 1951. Teachings Patience.
Let's praise the Lord. Hallelujah. 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 Let's praise the Lord. Singing day. Singing day. Singing day. Let's praise the Lord. Singing day. Singing back, singing back, let's praise the Lord. Hallelujah, 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 let's praise the Lord. Hallelujah, 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 let's praise the Lord. Sing back, let's praise the Lord.
Testimony of Faith by Claudio Cristiano Brandes de Oliveira Pinheiro.
Hallelujah, 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 let's praise the Lord. Hallelujah, 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 let's praise the Lord. Sing back, sing back, sing back, let's praise the Lord.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Claudio Cristiano Brandão de Oliveira Pinheiro. I am 22 years old and I have been a member since the age of 3 when I received the show. The testimony of faith that I would like to share with you is related to following the guidance received in the monthly service of gratitude. In last month's speech given by the president of the church in Africa, he said the following: "We who receive the permission from Eshu Sama to give service in the work of salvation, we need to perceive God's will through each suffering person He places before us. Every time a person comes to us with a problem or suffering, or even causing some suffering for us, we need to think, what can I do to connect this person with God in our daily lives? To follow this guidance, I prepared flowers of light almost every week and did my best to distribute them before work and around my neighborhood. I experienced the following occurrences. One evening, while walking back home from the neighborhood, a few days later, I met with a friend and explained the church and jury to them. However, their response towards the church was quite negative. I walked back home at night, sad and discouraged, wondering if I was being useful to God at all. In the middle of the way, despite being dark, one of the ladies recognized me and said that the flowers changed the environment of her home, that she felt much better. I dropped everything I was carrying and offered her jewelry. She happily accepted it and thanked me a lot for the prayer. On another occasion, I went to a shop with a few flowers of light to distribute along my way. I saw a couple and was hesitant about offering them the flowers, wondering if they would accept them. I told myself to be strong and asked if they would like to receive them. However, they declined and thought it was a silly gesture. This hurt my confidence, and I went inside the shop feeling discouraged about offering more flowers. Inside, I saw a disabled man and realized that the remaining flowers were actually meant for him and the cashier. They both happily accepted. A co-worker missed many days of work due to stomach pains, similar to appendicitis. I am the youngest person on the floor, so I was very wary of offering him jewelry. However, he accepted jewelry and, in another occasion, he happily took the flower of light. With this testimony of faith, I learned that it is not always easy to offer jewelry and the flower to people around us. Many will not be open to accepting them and will think that what we do is nonsensical and superstitious. However, we must follow the guidance received with courage, always on the lookout for people suffering and seeking the light. My commitment is to deepen my focus on the basic practices of faith and to reach a point where I can follow the guidance received without wavering. I would like to thank God, the Messiah Meshusama, and my ancestors for the permission to be useful in the divine work. Thank you.
Another testimony by Rebecca Bagere Rebecca Toga.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bagdanile Rebecca Mdoka. I am 47 years old and I have been a member since 2012. I was guided to this church by missionary Philomena Mujahashilo Mamatiki in front of the Jurais Center as she offered me a philosophy of P.T. Okada. The problems that brought me to this church were that night, filled with battery, financial problems, conflict, stomach problems. As a result, I was taking medication every day. In a week, I could see a doctor twice, but nothing helped. I was worrying a lot because financially I was not doing well, and the doctor advised I do an operation. I had explained all my suffering to the minister, who then gave me the following guidance. To increase receiving Jure to 30 Jure per day, to the practice of studying, to the profound reflection, to my donation of gratitude and tithe, and keep flowers of light at home. I did my best to come to the church every day and followed the guidance patiently, and the purification became better. The testimony of faith that I would like to share today is regarding deepening in the practice of nature farming. 4 years ago, I began a garden at the Crash Lotus Garden with my nephew, who was experiencing significant financial difficulties in his life. He was also in the process of searching for his biological father, whom he had never met. At the time, we started the garden at the crash. At the time when we started the garden at the crash was suffering financially. It worsened by the COVID pandemic, which had reduced the number of children to just 11. This significant drop in student numbers severely impacted the school's income. The nursery school experienced frequent breaking, with thieves stealing men. Reached a point where they were taking all the food meant for the children. So we started the garden, focusing on planting spinach, beetroot, tomatoes, and onions. We also expanded the garden to the other premises owned by the school, where we planted sweet potato on a large piece of land. We planted variety of flowers that we also used for distributions, along with banana trees. The children were actively involved in planting and watering the garden. I trained a gardener at the crash in the nature farming method, and he took on the responsibility for the plot, and he is becoming very good in this method. The harvests were abundant. We began feeding over 30 children daily, and during harvest times, we provided natural produce for the children to take home and share with their families. This practice generated a great deal of gratitude from the parents, some of whom even purchased produce from our garden. Through this practice of nature farming, we noted the following changes at the crash. The number of children increased from 11 to 30 in a very short time. The center began receiving learners for aftercare. I started volunteering to help the children with their homeworks. They also dedicated in the garden. We introduced Ikebana in the crash and made the flower workshops for the children. Ikebana became a program it became a program at a different events like Mother's Day and other events of the crash. To this day, the thieves have stopped robbing the crash. The financial status of the I still receive occasional reports about the harvest, and the children continue to receive natural food babies. 2 years ago, after leaving Lotus Garden, I started a new garden at a local church in Orlando Park. I was introduced to the pastor responsible for the church community vegetable garden, and introduced him to nature farming concept, which he quickly embraced. Alongside a lady who joined the Ibadan class, started dedicating with me and growth. When we first met, she was facing financial difficulties, working only one day a week during domestic discharge, and suffering from high blood pressure. After she shared her struggles with me, I spoke about the importance of gratitude and donation. Although she wasn't a member of our church, she began making daily donations and participated in the preparations of our monthly services with the other Igenbana class participants. She experienced the following changes after she started dedicating to the garden and receiving children. From working one day a week, she began to receive more discharge. She was involved in receiving a free swimming training. Last year, she was employed full-time. She is now a designer, despite not dedicating to the garden anymore. Continuing habits and now consume more natural. As a result, her high blood pressure stabilized and is now back to normal. In preparation for the Paradise on Egg service this year, I established 10 vegetable grows in an informal settlement near Morleka Park. I met a family facing significant difficulties. The woman was struggling with unemployment, while her husband has recently lost all his job and money due to a robbery, leaving them unable to afford anything. After setting up a vegetable plot for the family, I offered to write to the woman and her children. Which she accepted. I visited their home once a week to challenge children. Although it was difficult for her to make donations, she accepted children and even extended the vegetable plot on her own. She began selling vegetables to the neighbors and received more job to make ends meet. Though she initially had only 2 jobs a week. Family, I work with a vegetable plot. The couple shared that the husband had not received his salary for nearly a year because his employer claims the company was experiencing severe financial difficulties, despite the husband going to work every month. To make ends meet, the husband has been surviving by collecting stress from his wife. I offered to write to the family. Visit remarkably. Within the same month, he set up the vegetable plot. The wife informed me that the husband received salary for that month, although he still had not paid for what he was owed. Due to water restriction, the church was unable to maintain the garden, which led to significant plant guidance operation. Earlier this year, I received a petition to start a new sample water tank, and the tanks are conveniently located near the garden. The security staff and the garden are taking care of the security personnel, cook and eat from the garden. And some of the nurses are also there. Learned that not everyone can be saved to Jure alone, but there is power in the practice of nature farming. My commitment is to deepen my practice, is to deepen the basic practice of our church and to promote the principle of nature farming. I pray to God that this testimony can awaken everyone to go deeper with all the basic practice and encourage others to practice nature farming. I would like to thank God and Salvation Army, my ancestors, for the permission to be useful in the divine work. Thank you.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, let's praise the Lord. Hallelujah, 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 let's praise the Lord. Turning back, oh God, turning back, let's praise the Lord. Turning back, oh God, turning back, let's praise the Lord.
Greetings from the President of the World Messianic Church of Africa, Reverend Claudio Cristiano Del Pinheiro.
In the light of God, please walk in the light of God. Let's go. In the light, let's go. In the light, let's go. In the light, let's go. In the light of God, let's go. In the light, let's go. In the light, let's go. Oh, in the light, let's go. In the light of God, let's go. In the light of God, walk in the light of God.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. How are you? Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here with you today. It's been a long time, yeah?
Yes.
The last time I came, but it won't take a long time to come back again, yeah? I can be sure of that. Thank you. First of all, I'd like to express my deepest gratitude for all the effort you've done to spread joy in the teachings of Messiah Mission Sermon here in South Africa. All the efforts you've done to help people to spread joy in the teachings of Mission Sermon in our daily life. And we had our monthly sales of gratitude in our headquarters of Africa last Sunday in Angola, in Luanda. It was very good. We also had in the other countries like Mozambique, Democratic Republic of Congo, São Tomé and Príncipe, Congo, Brazzaville, Sierra Leone, the other countries. And we had a lot of testimonies of faith. One of them I'm going to share today with you in my speech. And all of them show us that we are on the right path, walking toward the light of God, practicing joy and the teachings of nations. It's this month of August in Africa. Our monthly spirit is dedicated to the pillar of salvation of nature farming. It's very important in our religion, this practice as well. Did you like the two testimonies of faith you heard today?
Yes.
Another round of applause to them. Thank you very much. And for the family. And the attitude of both of them of doing their best to make other people happy, introducing jewelry, introducing the flowers, introducing nature farming with the goal of making other people happy. These were two examples that all of us must follow in our everyday lives. Do our best to make other people happy. So that because when we speak about constructing paradise on earth, for some people it may sound like a utopia, yeah? Yeah, for most people say, oh, paradise on earth. No, I don't believe this. Please, oh, I don't have time to this kind of talk. Some people think, oh, paradise only after we die.
After we die, yes, we
But when we read the teachings of Meshach, it speaks about constructing paradise on earth, in our material world. And we must always remember that this construction of paradise on earth, it starts within me.
Amen.
Because I came from earth, all of us. Our material bodies, they came from the evolution of billions of years. That's why we have our material bodies. We have a divine particle that is our soul. That's a piece of the Supreme God. And this material body, we received it from our parents, from our ancestors, but it's a result of billions of years of evolution. That's why we came from dust, and to dust we shall return, yeah? It's even the Bible this way. And since we came from dust, from the material world, we are connected with the material world. We have influence not only in what is around us, our family, our work environment, our neighborhoods, where we study, where we attend, but we influence nature itself, the planet itself. So when we speak about construction of paradise on earth, it starts in our hearts. When we cleanse our hearts, when we dissolve the suffering that lies deep within our heart through the feeling of gratitude, we start to construct paradise within ourselves. And this reflects in our home, in our work, in our dedication, in our professional career, everything changes, everything develops alongside with our personal development. That's why it's so important to always keep this feeling of gratitude. It's very easy to forget the blessings that we have and start on to complain, to look for what is lacking, and forget to express gratitude for what we already have. It starts with our family. Yeah, when we speak about construct paradise on earth, always remember the order of this construction. It starts in my heart, and the next step is my home. I need to construct it at my home. Oh, but how do I do that? First of all, express gratitude to our family at home. Sometimes, quite often, we arrive back home we find food, we find the clothes, and things ready. We never say thank you to our wife, to our kids, to whoever did that. We think it's their obligation. In our workplace, we also usually don't say thank you to someone or say, please, could you do that? When we start to express gratitude to the ones who are around us, it means that we are acknowledging that they also are part of the plan of God. And thanks to them, I can live. No one can live by himself or herself. Yeah, no, I cannot. Even if it was with my money, but someone had to make these clothes so that we wear them today. We need a lot of people in our everyday life. What we ate this morning, you will thank to the farmers, yeah, who produced that somewhere that we don't know. But thanks to them, we could eat this morning. We can take the bus, take our car, put fuel. We need each other. We need each other. And when we start to think about that, we start to go, how do I express gratitude to people around me? To the closest ones and to people that I meet my daily life. Sometimes we get by people, we don't even greet them. And sometimes that person is just one step away of committing suicide. And sometimes it's our smile, our greeting, that will give him a ray of hope. You see, that's why we cannot be thinking centered on ourselves only. We need to start looking around us, worrying about who is around us. It starts at our home, our workplace, our neighborhood. That's why when Prophet said his testimony of faith, the guidance I gave last month, but no, let's spread the flower. Let's think about worry about making other people happy, introducing each other to them. Even to the ones who create troubles to us. How can I connect them to God? And when we do that through the flowers, offering jewelry, like Rebecca did with the nature farming products, the teaching we heard today about insect pests. Messiah explains the cause of this insect pest. It says very clearly. Harmful insects breed because of fertilizers, which pollute the soil, cause it to degenerate and weaken its potential. At the same time, the impurities introduced by the fertilizer remain. And he says, obviously, the health of people who eat rice rated by the high dose fertilizer, ammonium sulfate, will be adversely affected, since the blood will be clouded. Even though individual doses are very small, eating such contaminated rice 3 times daily all year round cause a large accumulation of toxins, which become the fundamental cause of all kinds of illnesses. It's the reason that we need to spread our nature farming method to as many people as possible. Because when we teach someone to raise food through our method, instead of putting pesticides, fertilizers, and do this through the way Mesama taught us, respecting nature, the person, every time the person eats that food, the person will be sowing a seed of health instead of a seed of illness. And when we do that, we are planting seeds of happiness in the lives of those people. You see, that's why the service you did, teaching people of the crash, of the clinic, of the church to produce food for our method, she was helping them to plant not only seeds of health, but also of happiness, because we need to be healthy to be happy. Yeah? Health is part of our happiness. So I'd like to ask all of you to follow their examples And in our daily lives, let's worry about who is around us. What can we do to make people happy? Introducing them to some through jewelry, through the flowers, through the nature farming method, teaching them to do that so that their lives may be improved. As the number of people who are worried about doing that increase, our society will improve. If you only keep complaining about society, about the government, about people, about this, about that, everybody does that. Percent doing that percent, nothing's changing. Now we have been introduced into jewelry, into the teachings of patience now. And we can make a big difference in the lives of everyone. You can make a big difference in the lives of people. We had a testimony of faith that happened in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Our church in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and I'm going to share it with you today. My name is Yabushila Balikilai Therese, and I'm a member. I was guided to our church in 2014 in Angola by my cousin, and in 2018, I returned to Kinshasa. The reason that brought me to the church was illness. I have problems begun with pain in my lower abdomen, which intensified to the point where I could no longer go to bed with my husband. I felt as though my uterus was being torn from my body. Although I was going to the Messianic Church in Angola, I stopped following its practice, and in 2018, I returned to Kinshasa. In 2020, lumps appeared in my breasts, and the pain in my lower abdomen worsened. I constantly complained about this suffering, but my husband kept me from losing hope, always saying that God would find a solution to my case. He took me to the doctor who, after several tests, diagnosed the cancer of the uterus and breast. However, the doctor recommended further tests with another professional to confirm the results. An ultrasound was performed and the pathology was confirmed. I was completely disheartened and fearful, as I already saw myself close to death. I called my mother, asking her to gather the whole family so we could get to the bottom of this hopeless disease. When I arrived, she traveled to the province, make the meeting with the family. I spoke and said, "Our father is already dead. We are left with only you and my older sisters. Tell me the cause of the suffering that has tormented me for years. Who is responsible?" Everyone remained in silence, and only my mother was able to speak, saying that she was innocent. It's very interesting, her first reaction when she was diagnosed with cancer. She gathered the family, and she was looking, who is the witch who is doing this to me? Yeah? It's very common here in Africa. Yes. It's very important that we reflect about this and this belief. The world was in the age of night. The age of night was ruled by the moon and sickness, poverty, and conflict increased a lot during the age of night. We are in the transition from night to day. And during the age of night, one of the main beliefs is that all my suffering is not my responsibility. It's because of someone. That's why we go to the sorcerer, to the Sangoma to find who is the witch that's tormenting me. When we believe in this, we don't take responsibility for what's happened in our life. That's why life does not change, does not improve. We are always looking for the cause of our sufferings outside of ourselves. And we judge, we criticize, we hate people that we believe are responsible for our sufferings. And we improve hell in our hearts. That's why our life, because we're always judged as someone responsible for my feelings. We, as followers of Bishop Salmon, we cannot keep believing like this, believing in this. It's very important. That's why we need to study the testimonies of faith, to reflect about my belief. What I believe is what materializes my life. That's why we need to check our beliefs. And so, my husband asked me to return to Kinshasa. He questioned why I, a follower of the church, was seeking the cause of my suffering on other people or tradition. After returning to Kinshasa, I became interested in other churches where I had prophets, suggesting healers, or miracle workers, but I lost a lot of money in vain. I felt a need to return to the practice of the Messianic church, so I began cleaning the house, roads, and markets. At the beginning of this year, while I was dedicating, I met a lady who wore a chain similar to the one used in the Messianic church. I approached her and discovered she was a member of our church. She gave me the address of the Formation Center of Mokali and insisted that I attended the church, but I did not, claim that I did not have time. Meanwhile, my deteriorating health condition worsened. And with no other options, in early May 2024, I went to the Formation Center. There, I was received by a missionary to whom I explained all my difficulties, and he gave me the following guidance. Receive at least 10 jure per day, make a donation of gratitude for this purification, keep the flowers of light in the house, participate in the service for the spiritual upliftment of our ancestors, and fill out the ancestral form. Make the deep reflection with the missionary. I made every effort to follow the guidance received. And as I practiced them, I felt a noticeable change in my body. I received a joy, made a donation of gratitude for the purification, regularly kept flowers in my home, and began to worship my ancestors. Miraculously, the pain started to fade. He understood that these practices were the true path to my salvation. I resumed the cleaning at home and on the streets, and thus I desired to become a member